Okay. Okay. Hi everyone. Today we're going to look at chapter 2. We're going to start chapter 2. Okay, and in chapter 2, we are going to look at a few things. We're going to look at negative numbers. We're going to look at rational numbers as well. And last but not least, we're going to look at real numbers too. Okay, so these three things. So I think this would be the very beginning of like our extension towards new math. Okay, so previously in primary school we've been dealing with positive numbers. So today we're going to extend our idea towards what are the negative numbers. Okay, so what is the idea of these negative numbers? Okay, so this one, as usual, you need to get out your blue color notebook. Okay, and you need to copy this in here. Okay, so this is just some very basic idea of your concepts. Okay, yeah, and probably after this you need your textbook to stand by also. So if I'm too fast, feel free to pause and copy down the thing. If I'm too slow, then you can like increase the speed. Alright, okay, so first and foremost, let me introduce you to one word. Okay, the word over here, I think I've mentioned it in chapter 1. The word over here is called integer. Alright, it is an integer. Right, so for an integer, what do we mean by integer? It is just another word called whole numbers. Right, so I'm going to write down these two words, whole numbers. Right, so integer is actually a whole number. So this is the first idea that we will need to write down. Okay, let's look at the second idea over here. Okay, the second idea over here is now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line. Okay, and on this line, okay, and I need to draw a really long line. Come on. Okay, I need to draw a really long line. Okay, and this line over here, right, I'm going to call this the number line. Okay, so what am I going to do first is I'm going to split the line to whole numbers. So let me start with 0. Okay, so how do I build whole numbers? We start at 0. We're going to go to 1. What is next after 1? 2. Next would be 3. Building up after 3 would be, oh no. Okay, after 3 would be 4. Oh. After 3 would be 4. After 4 would be 5. After 5 would be 6. After 6 would be 7. I try to make this as equal as possible. If you have OCD, I'm so sorry. Okay, alright, let me I think like this one is like a bit off. Yeah, so let's say I have all these numbers over here. Okay, now then if we go the other way around, right, 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 0, if you go one step back, okay, then we will need to encounter some opposite of positive numbers. The opposite will be called a negative numbers. Okay, so as you go backwards, we'll start with 1 again, and we'll go with 2 and go with 3 and so on, like what we did with our positive numbers. So as we go backwards, we're going to go with negative 1. Okay, let me find, oh dear. Okay, let me find this. Alright, like this, negative 1. Okay, so in front there is this thing called minus 1. Okay, then we have this negative 2. You can see? Right, next one. There is a negative 3 with a minus sign in front. We have a negative 4 with also a minus sign in front. Last but not least, we have a negative 5. Okay, and so on and so forth. It goes on forever and ever and ever. Alright, so positive side we go on with towards like 100, 1 million, so on. The negative sides increase as on the other direction. Okay, alright, so this is the first idea that we will need to do, is to know that there's an existence of our negative numbers. So now let me write down some words for you. Okay, so the first one is actually this, the first word that I'm going to write down here, oh dear. Okay. Now the first word I'm going to write down here are actually on your right hand side. So all these things, right, are your positive numbers. I'm going to call them positive integers. Great, positive whole numbers. Alright, positive integers or your positive whole numbers, right? Now then on the left, like what you've just seen over here, these are your negative numbers. Okay, and also these are also your negative whole numbers. Oh wait, sorry, not numbers instead. Instead should be negative integers. Yeah, okay, so negative integers on your left. Okay, so now the next one is, what about 0? Right, what do you think about 0? Okay, so it's on the positive side, then there's on the negative. 0 will lie in between. Correct? It is the balancing point. So 0 is actually neither positive, okay, it's not a positive number, nor is it a negative number. Okay, it is a neutral number over there. Okay, so we have our positive numbers, we have our negative numbers, and now we have 0, which is neither positive nor negative. And okay, next what we will do is we need to I will throw you some numbers, and we'll try to figure out where is the position of these numbers. Okay, so let's try. Let me show you 1.5, 1.5. So roughly where is 1.5? It is halfway between 1 and 2. Am I right? So over here we have our, so we can like indicate the location using a dot over here, right? And then we put an arrow. So this is my 1.5 or 1.5. Alright. Then what about negative 1.5? Where will it be? Is it between 0 to negative 1, or is it between negative 1 to negative 2? So you go backwards. So 2, 1, 0, negative 1, and a bit more. So it's something like what you see in the positive side, where 1.5 is in between 1 and 2. Then your negative 1.5 should also be in between negative 1 and negative 2. So over here we have a negative 1.5, like that. Okay, clear? Let's look at the third example. We have a, let me give you like negative 2, 2/3. So where will it be? So negative 2 and a little bit more. So we have roughly over here, right? So negative 2 and 2/3. Right, the last one would be a negative 4.1. So roughly where it is negative 4, a bit more, or a bit more to the left or to the right. So it should be a bit more to the left, right? So your negative 4.1 should be around here. So negative 4.1. Okay, so this is how we identify and where we mark negative numbers. Okay, so it will be exactly like what we do in the positive side. It's just that it is mirrored to the other side. Okay, one more time. It is what we do in the positive side, and we just need to mirror it to the negative side. Okay, right. So when we write our negative numbers, right, we will usually do this. We'll do, like, for example, a negative 2 like this. Okay, so usually this negative tells is actually a sign. Okay, we call this a minus sign or negative sign. Okay, and this sign tells us, like, you know, the direction, or, you know, like whether it's above or below, that kind of thing. Then for 2 will form our magnitude, the size of thing. So what is actually magnitude, right? It's actually the size. Okay, another word for magnitude, we say that is this the absolute value. And what do we mean by all these things, right? This is actually the size of what we're looking at over here. Okay, for example, you can say that positive 2 means you earn $2, negative 2 means you lose $2. So let's say if you have negative 5, what does it mean? You lose $5, you're losing more money. Okay, you lose more, you're in a worse condition and so on. So that kind of thing. So the 2 and the 5 will give you the size. The sign will tell you the meaning, whether is it earning or is it losing. Alright? Okay, so with this, let us look at another last example. Another one small concept is about more than or less than. Okay, so let me do this over here. Now on the number line, I need you to refer to the number line over here as well. So let me write down a statement over here, 2 and 5, right? So between 2 or 5, which one is larger? Now we need to compare the size between the numbers, yeah? So between 2 and 5, which one is larger and smaller? Of course, 5 is going to be larger, correct? So we use this symbol, okay? This symbol over here, the smaller n means it's a smaller number, the bigger end over here means it's a bigger number. Okay, so small to big, right? So this sign, what we call this sign, the name of this sign is called less than, and 2 is literally less than 5, which is true, is correct. Alright? Okay, let me put it another way. 5 and 2. Okay, let me throw it the other way, 5 and 2. Okay, now 5 and 2, 5 is definitely the other way around. It's definitely more than 2. Right? Agree? Okay, now what other thing makes you say so? Why is it less than or more than? Because if you refer to the number line above, okay, let me move myself to the number line above. Okay, right, you can see that actually 5, alright, is on the right hand side of 2. One more time, yeah. 5, right, is at the right hand side of 2. Okay, so over here, because 5 is on the right hand side of 2, 5 is greater than 2. 5 is more than 2. On the other hand, 2 is going to be less than 5 because 2 is on the left side, right? 2 less than 5, 5 more than 2. So anything on the right will be bigger, anything on the left will be smaller. So based on this logic, okay, based on this logic, let me move myself down again. So based on this logic, okay, I'll put the number line up there. I want you to compare this one, right? I want you to compare -2 and -5. Is it going to be more than or less than? Okay, is it going to be more than or less than? So over here, -2 is on the right hand side, 5 is on the left hand side. So which is the bigger number? -2 is going to be the bigger number. So -2 is bigger, -5 is smaller. So -2 is more than 5. Okay, I'm just going to put myself up there, yeah? Okay, the other way around. Okay, the other way around. So -5 and -2. What do you think? -5 is on the left, 2 is on the right. So -5 is definitely less than 2. Okay, so this ends our concept for the first part, right? So the first part over here, we are looking at what are these numbers along this number line, okay? And we also notice that 0, okay, is a number which is neither positive nor it is negative. And then we come to the concept of negative number, where you have a sign and you have a size, the magnitude that tells you the size. And last but not least, we also played with a little bit of the numbers over here, okay, and then we need to compare the size between the two numbers, okay, whether is it less than or more than, using these symbols over here. Alright, so so this ends the first part of our video, okay, and at the second part we're going to look at some examples from our textbook. So with this, we need to get ready our textbook, okay. Alright, let me pause. Okay, hello everyone, we are back into this one. So now let us transition to our textbook. Okay, and as you can see, we're on page 32 over here. Okay, and we are going to so if you're free, take your time to read through this part. Okay, read through these descriptions of your textbook. I'm just going to jump straight. Okay, we're just going to jump straight to page 33 over here. At page 33 over here, I'm going to look at practice now 1A. Okay, this part. Right, we are over here. Alright, so from the given numbers over here, we have question 1, yeah? Question 1, we have a list up here, okay? We have a list of numbers up here. List the numbers that are positive, negative, okay, positive integers. So number 1, what are our positive integers? Integers means with whole numbers. And so which are our positive integers? Let me list them down. We have -5, okay? What else? 2020, right, is... Oh, no, -5 is negative number. What am I doing? Okay, then my positive whole numbers is 2020. Is 0 positive or negative? It's a whole number, but is it positive or negative? It is neither, so we don't include it in. We have -half, -1. Obviously, these are not integers. These are not whole numbers. Okay, the next whole number is actually 6. Right, so we have these two positive whole numbers. Okay, number 2. which are our negative whole numbers or negative integers, the integers, okay? So we have our negative 5, right? Negative 5. We also have, what else? Oh, we have our negative 17. Okay, you can spot the negative 17 over there. Alright, next, positive numbers. Okay, let's look at number 3. Okay, for positive numbers in general, so we include all the positive ones. So 2020, 1.666, 3/4, 6. Yep, so these are our positive numbers. Okay, part 4, what about our negative numbers? We have now negative 5, negative half. So now you get the hang of it, negative 3.8, negative 17, negative 5 over 3. So as long as you see, like, you know, the negative sign means they are negative numbers. Okay, alright, so let's take a look at number 2. Okay, I'm going to write my answer on the side. So you can write this, you don't have to write this, sorry, so sorry, you don't have to write this in your blue book, you just list them down in your textbook, okay? Alright, so number 2, the coldest temperature ever recorded in Korea was 43.6 degrees below 0 degrees, alright? So at Chongkangjin, okay, so represent this temperature using a negative number. Okay, so where is a negative number? What is this 43.6 degrees Celsius below 0 degrees Celsius? We will write it as negative 43.6 degrees Celsius, like that, right? So this is a negative number because it's below 0, right? In the number line is before 0, this one is below 0. Okay, let's look at B. Alright, the lowest point on Earth is the Challenger Deep in what we call the Mariana Trench. It is like in the Pacific Ocean. There's a mountainy area within the ocean, and the bottom of the thing, it is 10994 meters, or 10,994 meters below sea level. So we use a negative number to say below sea level. So it's going to be negative, right? 10,994 meters. So you can imagine, negative 1 meters is just 1 meter below sea level. Negative 2 meters will be just negative 2. But it's also deeper than negative 1, you realize? So negative 10994 will be way below. Alright, so you can see that the negative tells you the direction. The number tells you the size. Alright, so this is what we need to get used to. Okay, 3. A company suffers a loss or a deficit. So when you have profit, you plus. When you have a loss or when you lose money, you minus. So we call this a negative and $10,000, right? Okay, D. Okay, for D, if 45 degree represent a clockwise rotation of 45, so what about anti-clockwise rotation of 81 degrees? So this would be negative 81 degrees, like that. Okay, alright, so this is how we use our negative numbers. Alright, so with this, the next skill we want to look at is how do we arrange our numbers based on our number line. Okay, so one more time, yeah. So how do we arrange our numbers based on our number line? So let's quickly look at this thermometer over here, right below the questions. So we have a thermometer over here. So what are the temperatures in each of these thermometers, A, B, and C? So for A, right, A would be like 0, 10, 20, 25, correct? So A would be 25 degrees Celsius, right? B, okay, where is B? B is at 0. Do you see this? 0 degrees Celsius. C would be negative 10 degrees Celsius because it's like before the 0. So which point shows the highest temperature? A, obviously. Which point shows the lowest temperature? C. So C is definitely lower than B, and C is definitely lower than A. So it means that like negative numbers, right? If your size is very big, you'll be less than whatever that's in front of you. Okay. All right. So this marking helps us to like read and compare temperature, and we use this in our number line over here. Okay, so with this, let us jump right through to this practice now 1B. So now we just want to compare, right, between two numbers over here. Okay, so for example, in A, okay, we're in page 34, yeah, in practice now 1B, question 1A, right, -3, -5. So you just need to look at your number line. Okay, so So 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. Okay, alright, so let's look at this here. So we have negative 3 and negative 5. So negative 3 is on the right hand side, negative 5 on the left. So negative 3 is more than negative 5. So we fill in that side. Okay, next for B. Negative 7, negative 2. Okay, what do you think? Negative 7, left hand side. Negative 2, right hand side. So obviously negative 7 is less than negative 2. Okay, 4. Negative 4 for part C. So where is 4? 4 would be on your right. Negative 4 on your left. So negative 4 is greater, more than. Right, then negative 6, negative 100. So we have negative 6 here. What about negative 100? It's going to go left or right? Based on the size, it's going to go on the left. So negative 6 is on the right. So it's going to be greater than negative 100. Okay, so you see what I mean over here? Alright, so it's less than or more than. Alright, number 2. Use a dot to represent each of the following numbers on the number line. So normally we use a dot or we can use a cross. So it depends on the question. Yeah, so read the question properly, either dot or cross. Okay, so let us find where are these numbers. So let's start off with negative 5. So where is negative 5 on the number line? Left or right? So you see that negative 5? So it's actually over here. So I'm going to put a dot, draw an arrow, negative 5. Okay, next one, where is 4? Draw an arrow over here. Okay, so 4. Okay, whole numbers we can just draw directly on the thing itself, right? You see my dot over here, blue color dot. Okay, next one, 0. 0 will be over here. Okay, let's look at the next one, negative 1.5. So 0, negative 1.5, so it is between 1 and 2. So negative 1 and negative 2. So it is right in the middle of this one over here. So negative 1.5. Okay, next one, 1.666 marked for us. We have negative 3.8. So we have negative 3.8. It goes beyond negative 3. So we have roughly 1 point over here. Okay, last but not least, 3/4. So where's 3/4? Over here. Right, 3/4. So hence we arrange them. So using our numbers above, we arrange our numbers in ascending order from small to big. So we start with the smallest one, negative 5. We go negative 3.8. We have a negative 1.5. Right, we have 0, 3/4, 1.666, and a 4. Right. So yeah, so this ends our video on negative numbers. I hope this video has been good, and this video has been clear on how do we read negative numbers and so on, right? So on your own, what I want you to do is to try, right? There's no what do you call this? There's no obligation. There's no need to worry too much. Okay, you just try some of these questions over here, and so that you can roughly at the next page, or page 35, so that you can roughly like page 35, yeah, you can see 35 there, so you can roughly know what's going on in this chapter and what do we mean by negative numbers. Okay, so with that, let me stop this video. So on your own, just try exercise 2A, and we'll cover this when we come back to school. Right, so thank you so much. Hope you have a nice day.